I'll give you some, some sort of a idea about how to sort of approach your paper 2 when it comes to the exam. Right. So when you're trying to talk about a strategy for your session, what should be the best sort of an approach that works best for you? What is your strength? What is your weakness? And what is the level of preparation? Based on all of those things, how do you sort of like, devise a particular strategy? So I'll try to go through many different kind of aspects. Generally, I start with this, right? 3 different topics here in our paper 2. So there you go. So see, archaeology, fossils, right? So this is your chapter number 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Requires a slightly different sort of an approach. You also have your Indian society and tribal India. One of the questions that some of you have also asked me is which of these things you should attempt, because there is a certain number of questions that you will be able to choose, certain number of questions that you can, skip also, right? So we'll talk about this thing. Archaeology and fossils, what exactly does it take in that particular module? Indian society, which is basically the first, can I say, chapter number 2.1 all the way till chapter number 5, right? And chapter number 6 onwards, let's put it in tribal India for the sake of completion. Now, tribal India is also part of Indian society, but it's a subset of Indian society, the tribal society of India. What should it take? What kind of things should you look out for? Take a look at these. If you see paper 2 module wise, and this is essentially the 2021 paper. Okay, and 2021 paper. So this paper is going to be for 28 questions or 400 marks. Okay, 28 questions or 400 marks. And if you see last year, and I'm only taking last year's paper, I'm not analyzed, I'm not giving you a complete pattern, right? So, but let's just take a look at one particular paper, which is your last year's paper. Tribal India, approximately 50% of your paper. So if it is 50% of your paper, I also would want to suggest that, because you have to attempt only 19 out of 28 questions, you can choose more from here as well. So that means you can even have tribal India to be a lot bigger chunk, right? A lot more than 50% of your paper. Indian society is around 26%. You guys know it. There are theoretical concepts in your paper. This one, approximately 14-15% from your archaeology and fossils, which I can say that history component. And there are some, chunks which are not very clear on which part of the syllabus it will be. And a lot of it has to be generated in the exam hall using multiple different concepts from multiple different sort of modules, right? So that is that. If you take a 10 marker alone, if you see the 10 marker, you see a good chunk of the 10 marker will come from your Indian society, or at least it did come from Indian society, right? You have 10% from your archaeology and 20% from your tribal India. If you go here you will start noticing that, tribal India for the long answer questions, relatively a little more. Okay, 20 marker. So take a look at both of these things. Okay, when it comes to 20 marker and 10 marker, 20 marker and 10 marker, you will start noticing that, at least 50% of the questions are going to be from, tribal India portion. So this is the pattern last year. Is the pattern going to be the same this year? Absolutely not. Okay, because we're not trying to sort of like trying to decode what the UPSC exam paper setters are going to do, right? And if we do it also, there is a very good chance that we may not be right. But at least it gives you a perspective into what the paper was like last year. If you have written it, you probably already have understood this. So paper 2, tribal India, a lot more sort of long answer questions. Okay, paper 2, part A, which is your Indian society portion, relatively shorter answer kind of questions, right? Why are we stressing on these kind of portions? We are stressing on these kind of portions because some of you have also asked whether to attend, and I have written down your questions also, whether to attempt tribal or whether to attempt Indian society. What are the kind of questions from tribal India? What are the kind of questions from Indian society? So I hope this gives you that perspective.